time is now. Welcome back to the Time is Now podcast. Thank God we could be here together today. On this podcast, we speak to entrepreneurs from all industries and figure out what makes them tick, where they came from, what business means to them, and how they achieve success. I'm Dr. Slava Shut, a doctor of physical therapy, serial entrepreneur, and your host. Hello, everybody. Awesome to have you guys here today. I want to introduce you, and I'm very excited to have Miranda Jiggins. Miranda is the owner and the founder of Total Boss, a group that works to ignite your inner total boss from the inside out so you can elevate your business while bringing up others around you. She is an Apex member, an entrepreneur, a competitive bikini bodybuilder. I'm so excited to speak to her today. She's my sister from another mister, so it's she's a powerhouse. So Miranda, please, can you tell us about you and introduce the world to you and Total Boss?
Thank you so much. Thank you for that intro. That was so nice. You just made my whole week. So that was the nicest intro ever. So I appreciate that. Yeah. Here at Total Boss, it's just crazy. I mean, I started as a personal trainer, and like a self-employed personal trainer in 2018, 2019, and we've really evolved from there, right? But Total Boss is all about being the real you. I specialize in helping women with side hustles, women that have corporate careers with a side hustle. So that's our main target client. We still do fitness coaching. I do have a leg for that. We also have a line of events, and I just launched a shoe line. So it's a little crazy over here, but all of the good things. So yeah, we're just all about igniting your power, right? And then I really feel as if we need as many advocates as possible for women in business. I'm really a supporter in that, women in business and women in corporate careers. So that's what we do here.
So it's awesome to hear the bubbliness because, sometimes, when people see only a picture of you, only see something of you that's a still, not a 3D or live, they don't get a chance to hear your personality, right? So,
right.
When my staff and we do some research behind everybody, that's how we get some information, stuff like that, tell us, like, they read that you were not always as outgoing as you are right now. Because I see you and I've known you as a bubbly powerhouse personality. I see your stuff. It's phenomenal, right? But were you not as outgoing as you are now?
No, I'm not. And I thank you for bringing that up. I know one ever believes me when I tell them that, but I'm like, it's totally true. I can find witnesses. But yeah, no. So I'm from a very small town. I live in Dallas, and I live in Dallas, Texas. I'm from a very small town in Ohio. Like, it's called Somerset, Ohio. I don't know if anyone's heard of it before. It's about 45 minutes from Columbus. And I'm super grateful for the area that I lived in, and my parents are incredible people. But I just did not fit in super well there. Like, when I was in high school, I was really quiet, like super shy, just this awkward, like skinny blonde girl, right? And then so I really, really had to work on that, right? Like, I didn't go to prom when I was in school. I didn't go, I ate lunch for myself. I was total like that outcast. It was really hard though mentally, right? It was one of like the more challenging times in my life, and I could never really understand why. But now I've done a whole bunch of inner work, and I know that a lot of other entrepreneurs had the same high school experience growing up. So I didn't used to be like this. So it's crazy the progress, I guess. And it's cool because my clients that come in now, they're a little bit like how I was, and it's cool to see them, help them come out of their shell. And, that's what like Total Boss is all about, like that, like transformation, so it's really interesting to see things come full circle.
I've seen your transformation. Like, we've been in Apex together for, maybe close to 2 years or a year and a half, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
I've definitely seen your work definitely improve. Not that it was bad before, but like I really seen you digitally grow up. I've seen you like expand. I've seen your sorrowful tears when you've had your downs. I've seen your ups. I love when you post, all the positive things, and I love what you help with women. Tell me, tell the audience, like, when did you get into the fitness stuff, and how did you, like, because somebody that's an introvert, right, and learn to expand their personality, but it is not easy to get on stage in a bikini, right?
Right.
I'm assuming that was not
Bikini and
easy.
heels. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm a total, like, I have two sides of me. I have, like, I love business clothes. I will wear business professional, business casual clothes all day long, but I also like live in gym clothes and a sparkly bikini and heels a couple times a year. So with me, you seriously get the best of both worlds. Like, but no, so actually that's a really great question. So I'm not very athletic whatsoever. So anything that, like, I always think any sports teams that involves the ball, you do not want me on your team because you will lose. So like just don't even ask. I'll just sit on the sidelines and like cheer you on and like pack snacks. But but no, I got into fitness when I was 16, right when I was going through those really hard times when I was in school. So I picked up fitness as a mental release. So when I turned 16, it was my job to drive my brother to his boxing practice, right? So I'm older than him. So it was literally my job as like the older one to now cart my brother around to all this stuff. So I had to take him. And then one day his coach, she was like, do you want to work out? And I was like, sure. So I literally didn't even own a pair of gym shoes at the time because I used to think they were really ugly. So I never even I refused to wear them when I was like growing up, right? So I went and got some, and it just became such a mental release for me. It was like a mental release and a stress release. I literally don't know like how I got through high school without like fitness, right? So and I was with so I got a trainer, and the trainer's gym that I was at, he had competitors there, right? And to me at that time when I was in school, because I was going through a whole bunch of like self-confidence things and all of that, they looked so confident, right? And just strong and everything that I felt like I was not. So I just knew I'm going to compete one day. And then when I graduated school, I was just working out just for like general fitness, I guess. It wasn't even for fitness. It was more of like a mental release, right? And then I met my still bodybuilding coach at the gym, and he was just like this random guy came up to me and he was like, hey, do you compete? And I'm like, no, but I've always wanted to. He's like, well, you should. And I met him in 2017, and he's been my coach ever since then. So yeah, so I'll do my 10th show this year. So I've competed almost 10 times, which is nuts. So yeah, that's the story.
So it's so hard, like watching your pictures. And I know I've never been competitive bodybuilding, but I've been working on my body since I was, a kid too. Back in the day when I was a tiny little guy, and now I'm a much bigger guy. But, I know how hard it is to look like that. Can you guide, like, since you're such a female advocate, can you guide some of the females that are listening that, we'll take it from the fitness end first, and then we'll transition into entrepreneurship. But tell the women out there who have this misconception that, oh, I don't want to get too bulky. I mean, and then I quit and I don't do anything. So that defeats the purpose, right? So dispel some of the myths in fitness, please, and guide some of the newbies, the women who maybe are on the fence of trying to work out. How do you empower them to get to work out?
Yeah, no, I love this question. It's a fantastic question. First and foremost, the myth of, working out to get too bulky is, as you know, because you're in fitness too, it's totally false, right? It is impossible to look bulky like a bodybuilder just by lifting weights and going to the gym. You need to be eating a very calculated diet for a very long time. You need to be like pulling water, right? And like, don't forget bodybuilders, and I didn't know this when I first started competing. So I don't look like a bodybuilder year round. I'm in my off season right now. I've got some like fluff on me, I just kind of look like a normal girl that maybe just like works out a little bit extra, right? So people thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. But so there is a huge misconception that, lifting weights will make you look like a bodybuilder really fast. And that's totally false. You actually, in my experience, in my opinion, get your results a lot faster by lifting heavy, right? Now, you don't only want to lift heavy. You have to obviously like eat relatively clean and, do some sort of cardio, whether it's like getting a walk in or something. I like to think of fitness as a triangle, right? It's like equal balance of both is what works for you. So you have like the food portion, and then you have like the fit cardio portion, the lifting portion, right? So they'll make you tone up way faster, right? It's going to boost your metabolism, right? Which means you're going to burn through your food faster. So there's so many benefits to lifting. So I would 1000% recommend it to anybody. I can double pinky promise you that it's not going to make you bulky. I promise you that for sure. It's going to give you a great butt though. So, and then, so the other portions, if someone's just getting started, so especially after working with a lot of female fitness clients for a while, and my target audience is moms, right? I do moms or women. I do not train competitors whatsoever. I would refer somebody to my coach if they wanted to do that, but I just train the person that wants to just like, feel good when she puts on a pair of jeans and goes to the grocery store, right? I mean, that's my target. She wants to feel good when she puts on a shirt, to go do anything. A big misconception is that a lot of people think that they have to work out like 6 days a week. That is 1000% false. I hear that all the time. It's like, I don't have time to work out 6 days a week. You totally don't have to. Consistency overrides everything in the fitness world. So if you're consistent in the gym 2 to 3 times per week, you will see results like that, right? So you have to be consistent. You don't need to be working out 6 times a week. You need like 20 to 40 minutes, 2 to 3 times per week. And that's all that you need, right? I would highly recommend to make them on the same days to keep it easier for your schedule. So say I'm going to work out like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, great. That's all that you need, right? And then when you break it into bite-sized chunks like that and explain it to somebody, it gets way more manageable, right? You're like, I got 40 minutes, you don't have to go to the gym. You can do an at-home workout, right? There's so many. I used to actually do conditioning for really elite level gymnasts. That's how I learned. One of my very first mentors was a super elite gymnast conditioning expert. And I really learned a lot of interesting like body weight stuff through her. So there's a ton of body weight stuff you can do at home. So yeah, it's not as crazy as some people think it is.
That's incredible. Let's talk about you as the boss. Okay. I want to know about the inspiration behind the shoe, right? And the beautiful sparkly red shoe, right? The boss lady shoe. And tell us some of the biggest lessons that you've learned as an entrepreneur. Tell us about some of your journey.
Yeah, thank you for that. I love this question. So let's go to the shoe first. So that's really interesting. So it's kind of funny because I've always liked high heels. So it's just really interesting how everything kind of comes full circle. So actually, when I was in high school, I had this teacher tell me, he was like, hey, he's like, I think you're going to be in fashion when you grow up. And in my head, then I was like, what? I was like, no way. He's like, yeah, I just think that. And I'm like, whatever. But now it's like, it's all coming full circle, right? But so the shoes, so my business has gone through some transitions and changes and growth like everyone else. I will call them growing pains, right? But it's all positive. So when I changed the logo from whatever I had before, when I was just fitness, right? Before we did the switch into the other legs. I don't know. I love heels, right? I love heels. I love shoes. I just think they're awesome. I think more women should wear them if you're able. And when I was just only personal training, I really missed that piece of me because I was like, I love obviously like fitness clothes, but I was in fitness clothes the whole time, right? And that's great. And yeah, but I didn't want that identity of like Miranda the trainer, and Miranda's always I was becoming to have that identity, right? And I did not like that. So I don't know, one night about a year and a half, 2 years ago, I was just like, it was like a Saturday night. I do a lot of work really late on Friday and Saturday nights. It's like my zone of genius, but I was like, all right, I just made this logo with like the shoe emoji, like the red high heel shoe emoji. And it literally caught on as the Total Boss logo. So like I did, that's been pretty, I guess like that's caught on, was really unintentional like that. So yeah, so that's what happened. And then caught on as the shoe logo. And I hired this marketing girl. She's great. She designed me my own red high heel. So the logo that we have now is actually, I do have a pending trademark on that because it's a heel, but you can't trademark an emoji. So I've had that one custom drawn for us and all of that. So that's how that happened. So anyway, that's how the shoe happened, right? And then over time, I've had some people come up to me and they're like, hey, like we need our own like Total Boss high heels, because I used to post pictures of myself on my desk, like in heels, right? Just for kind of fun. And then I would like brush it off. I'd be like, oh no, I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool. I'm like, I don't know how to do that, right? And then And then the same person I hired to help me with the shoes, to help me with like the logo, she sent me this name of this company that I could make my own heel, right? And it was just like a spark from there. That's all she did was send me the link. Like she helps with logo and animation, right? But like she just sent me the link and I researched and I actually went with a different company that I felt a little bit more aligned with. And it's been incredible. So yeah, like I launched the shoe line and they're incredible. So that's how that happened.
And what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned along this journey? Because, when you've gone to basically somewhat divergent fields. I mean, when you're training people, that's one thing. And then, somewhat related, but coaching in business and those kind of things, mindset, it's slightly divergent. What are some of the lessons that you've learned?
Okay, so the biggest lesson I've learned is to be being very real. You have to be willing to let the past go to move forward. That's been the hardest thing for me for sure. I'm extremely, extremely grateful. I still have clients with me today that have literally been with me since day one in like 2018. I'm not even kidding. I'm so grateful for them, right? So they're still here and I still have the fitness side to my business. So they're still on that. But however, just going through the process of starting your business and knowing some people that you really love and dearly, really cherish in your life, whether it's like a friend or a client or something, that's going to change a lot when you're growing. And that's something that has been really hard for me to work through just because of my past, I think, right? I really truly value all relationships in my life. I know what it's like to have really amazing relationships and really crappy relationships, right? So that's been the hardest part for me. And I feel like if I was able to let that go a little bit earlier, I would be a little bit farther along. But it's all a learning lesson, right? So if especially for someone who's just starting or just in like your first year or two of business, I would really I wish somebody told me when I first started, hey, the people in your life now are not going to be here like 4 years from now, or at least like 80% of them are not, right? So if I had somebody tell me that, I think I would have gone forward a little bit faster. However, I'm really grateful. I don't regret anything. I'm really grateful for all the lessons learned. So that's a top one that I really want to hopefully have some people sit with afterwards if you're wanting to start, because it's real, but it's all positive for sure. It's all positive.
Absolutely. We talk about this all the time. It's sometimes when you're successful, misery loves company. So people want to bring you down. And unfortunately, in life, here's a lesson learned, and here's another entrepreneur telling you, sometimes you got to cut people off. You may love them. They may be wonderful people, but they could be toxic to you and they're trying to bring you down, not maybe on purpose, like it's not conscious. It could be subconscious, but sometimes success is lonely. It doesn't have to be completely lonely, but sometimes you start working your way up and you're like, well, who do you think you are? Are you better than me? Come back down, come back to earth. Your rocket ship's flying a little too high. We like you better down here, with the rest of us normal folk, right? So being an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur, sometimes you're in elite class and sometimes there's not a lot of people around you, but you try to work with good people and, there's nothing wrong with flying high and coming up. So, one topic you've talked about is cash flow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you eventually scaled your business bigger and bigger. The numbers are your business, not ours. But, I know it didn't happen overnight. Tell us about the scaling process and, how you've navigated through peaks and valleys.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that's a very real topic that a lot of people don't talk about, especially like in your first. So I'm in my year, I became fully self-employed in 2019. So that's like what, roughly 4 years ish. So I really feel as if you're just getting started, I would highly, highly recommend to get as many organic sales as possible. That's really going to save you 2 or 3 years later down the road, because you have to know how to make money without starting with like a whole bunch of loans, right? I'm really, really grateful. So I literally I had some mentors and some help along the way, but I didn't have anything when I started my business, nothing. And it's like a lot of people go into it. I feel, especially being like a side hustle coach, right? And seeing it more people's thought process. It's like, I have to have all this capital and I have to have like this perfect, website. And I'm like, pause. No. We don't need that. It's like so the only thing we need is organic sales, right? I was able to get my business to about 50K per year with like zero investing whatsoever. I mean, like I didn't have a coach. It was just all organic stuff. I didn't know any better. I was just following my intuition and like trading my clients, and it's like, hey, look, I'm paying my bills. Like that's
Which is the
literally
goal,
how.
right?
Right. Yeah. Right. Exactly. And then I met Stacy, and I did to get a loan for my very first like real business coach. It was the best money I've ever spent in my whole life. Right. But that's what really helped me scale my business. We do right around 6 figures in sales right now, with all the umbrella things, right? And I know that may seem like a lot, but like I have overhead now and all that too. So some people hear that number and they think it's like totally different, right? But there's levels, right? It's the new level, same devil is totally a real thing. But so I would highly recommend to get as many organic sales as you can as possible. That's totally going to save you down the road for sure. And just know, like, I mean, there's going to be days where you're going to like run your bank accounts to zero because you have to cover your overhead, right? Like that is going to happen. It's happened to me multiple times. It's happened to every single entrepreneur, right? But all of those challenges has always propelled me forward. Like I launched the events business because I had to pay an expense the next day and like didn't have it, right? So I just decided to have an event and I sold 5 tickets and I was able to pay for that. And now I have a full a new entity with that, right? A whole staff underneath of that, right? And it's growing. So, but that would have never happened if I didn't have that challenge, right? So I would just really, a lot of entrepreneurs, they want to quit when that happens, but like, I don't have the no quit gene. It's a blessing and a curse, totally, I feel. But I just really would encourage you, if you are like having cash flow issues, A, it's temporary, and B, it's always there to serve you for sure. And so that's what I really want to drive home today because it's important.
Let's spice things up a little bit. You're all bubbly, you have a big heart, but I want to know from you a controversial subject. I want to hear from you, what's a hot take that you currently have in your head that you may want to talk about? Like, give us a hot take, something controversial. Let's talk about it right now. And I want to know your opinion on it. This is your platform to let it all out.
Oh my gosh. Let me think. Can I have an example?
Anything in the fitness industry, anything in the entrepreneurial world, anything in the business world, anything against women in business, like anything that's a hot topic that's controversial, let's let it out right now.
Yeah. Okay. So I am a little more personal. I believe like if I'm in a relationship, I don't want to be in the charge of the relationship at all. Do you get what I'm saying? I believe in very traditional gender roles at home. And a lot of people would be shocked to hear that from me, but like I cannot be in charge of everything in my life. There's no way whatsoever. So and that's how I really feel. Like I can't be in charge of everything at all times, right? So at home, like I totally am all for like traditional gender roles. I mean, like I know there's that's probably like, I know it's not super controversial, but it is. I feel like it is a little bit because there's a huge, there's a huge like push right now for like women in business, and I'm all for that, right? But I am all for women in the workplace and women in business for sure. But me personally, on the personal level, like I'm all for traditional gender roles at home. But that is just my opinion. I'm all for like everyone doing them. I mean, whatever you believe in for your home is totally yours. I'm not telling anyone to do something. That's just what I believe for me, that I feel like would actually shock a lot of people if they heard that.
That is awesome. And it's only shocking because we're national, right? And maybe even a little bit international, but so it's funny that you say that, and you being from like, the Midwest, because Ohio's not considered East Coast, right? So, it's funny how you're in this area where there's still traditional values, there's morals and ethics, not saying that the coast to coast does not have that. There's some really good people for sure, but it's interesting hearing some of that region where you're from, there's still those traditional values, and it's okay. You could be an awesome big boss lady, killing it, tough as nails, and then still be okay and come home and have those traditional roles. There's nothing wrong with that. So
Right.
dude, that was awesome. So that surprised me a little bit, but I thought you would go somewhere in the fitness realm. But that's awesome that you said that, because women need to hear that. Why can't you be everything? Why? Why do you have to be in a box, right? You have to be so hard and tough, and I'm going to compete with men. Why? Like, you could be everything you want to be. You could be a mother, you could be have those traditional gender roles and still be a boss lady. There's nothing wrong with that. You could be everything you want to be, all in one. And
Exactly.
you seem like the package. So where can we find you? Please plug yourself right now. I want everybody to know you. I want everybody, get all your information, and I want your phone line to blow up. How do the kids say, crash your system?
My
Viral?
system, yeah. Thank you so much. Honestly, the best way to find me is on Facebook. If you just look up Miranda Jiggins, I'll pop right up. Please send me like your friend request. You're more than welcome to send me a message. I normally respond really fast. That's the best way to find me. If you Googled my name, a lot of stuff will pop up too. But just the best way literally is to just find me on Facebook, just type in my name and I'll respond.
Any last words of wisdom that you want to share with everybody?
Yeah, I always love this question. I would just really encourage everybody to be the true you. For a really long time, I guess not for a super long time, but for a while, I really I was always myself, but I showed up as I thought others expected me to be. Does that make sense? Like when I was just the trainer, I was put in that trainer box, right? And which is fine. It's fantastic. There's nothing wrong with that. But I just knew I had so much more to offer to the world. However, I still showed up as just like Miranda the trainer for a really long time because I had a lot of fears. I'm like, oh my God, like what if all my clients leave? What if everyone hates me? Like this is so that's been really a journey for me to work through. I will put it that way, right? But the minute I literally started showing up as what I liked, right, and what I thought was aligned for me and what I believe in, that's when like the magic happens, right? And that's when everything really, really falls into a line. So if you're showing up in your life because you think others expect you to show up as that, and you want to change that, I'm proof you totally can. It's going to take some work, but there's magic on the other side of that. I promise.
That's incredible. Just be you. And we're so happy that you were you today. And we thank you for being here. And that was awesome. And you're fantastic. So keep killing it, girl. I hope we see each other grow. And there is no ceiling as far as I'm concerned. And may Total Boss just blow up like crazy style. Okay.
Thank
Just
you so much.
out of control.
I appreciate that. Thanks. Same for you and your business. I'm always cheering you on 200%. So we're going to grow. There's no sky the limit here for both of us. So
awesome. I agree. So let's keep in touch. Let's run this back again at some point, and let's keep killing it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Total Boss. Thank you so much. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube. If you're listening, make sure to rate us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Thank you for listening to The Time Is Now with me, Dr. Slava Shut. Remember to tune in every Friday at 2 p.m. and send in your questions to Dr. Slava Shut on Twitter. Thank you.